This episode is supported by Battlefoam.com. Hi everybody, Guild Ball Week is coming next week here on Beasts of War. We've had the guys in from Steamforged, we've got some epic battle reports, some really cool faction chats, and some great prizes up for grabs. We've got 3 copies of Guild Ball Kickoff to give away. So that's the Masons and the Brewers. Stay tuned for next week's content, get your comments in, and you could be one of our lucky winners.
Good morning and welcome to the Weekender. We have a bit of a weird one for you because although these guys are here...
Yeah, this is not the Justin you're looking for.
Yeah, they're not here. And they are, of course, covering Salute. So we have Salute, we're going to have some prizes. We have all the coverage from the actual event taking place today, Saturday the 22nd of April, over at beastsofwar.com. So when you're finished watching this, with your cup of tea or coffee in the morning, likely in your jammies, come across to beastsofwar.com and catch our day of Salute coverage. It's sure to be absolutely awesome.
Possibly win yourself some cool prizes.
On the topic of prizes,
yes,
last week's prizes are going to be extended by a week, and the reason being is because we're recording this early.
It may actually be about 2 weeks, because don't forget, the week we get back after Salute is Hobby Night Live.
Yeah, there's no Weekender next weekend because on Thursday night of next week, we may, fingers crossed, be doing our very first Hobby Night Live. It's a live stream that'll go out across. It's a live stream that will definitely be hosted on the homepage of beastsofwar.com.
Yeah.
It probably will go out across Twitch. It might go across YouTube. We might be able to do all of them. Yep. We're still testing a lot of that.
Well, we have to pick our site.
But I tell you what, if we can't, we will. If we do Hobby Night Live on Thursday, the 27th of April, starting at 8 p.m. British Summertime BST, so 8 p.m. BST.
Yes.
It means that you guys in the continent should be able to grab it, to watch it, no problem. At least the first bit of it. Yeah. People in the UK should be able to watch most of it. And then over on the east coast of the States, you should be able to catch the latter half of it.
Yeah.
The topic for us for Hobby Night Live is we're going to be looking at 30k Space Wolves, so pre-heresy Space Wolves.
Yeah.
But you know what we're going to do? We will, if we do that live, we'll announce the winners on that live show. And we're hoping to have some prizes that we give away live on the show.
That could be fun.
To some of the people, to some viewers and participants and things like that.
Important thing then, just so everybody at home knows, Ben, can you quickly run us through the prizes which we are extending the competition out for?
Okay, so the first of the prizes was going to be the one from Mantic Games, and this was for their terrain crate Kickstarter that's coming up. You had to come up with an idea for a really awesome piece of resin terrain. They'll go through the process of making this piece, and you could also win one of the different sets that they're going to be making as part of the Kickstarter, which is pretty cool. And the other one is for the guys at Burning Games, and this was for Faith. Now, they brought out a set of characters for their recent Kickstarter, for their role-playing game. All you had to do was comment on which was your favourite of these different characters. All the links on stuff will be down below anyway. And you could win yourself an entire character set from that Kickstarter campaign. So,
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, next week... launches on Monday. We kick off with Guild Ball Week.
Yes.
So
I've been waiting for this one to go out.
So we've got some Guild Ball prizes and things like that through the week.
Yep.
You're going to learn how to play. You're going to learn about all the different factions. Yep. It's going to be a mega week. So starting with this video, commenters on this video and any of the videos during the week could be up with a chance of winning one of 3 copies of the Guild Ball 2-player starter set.
Because in this one, I actually get sat down with Jamie and Bryce from Steamforged to actually talk through the Kickstarter set, but you'll see that later in the show.
The kickoff set.
Kickoff set.
Kickstarter on the brain.
Kickstarter on the brain, yeah.
Okay. Later in the show, we also have an interview with Mantic where we're going to be looking at Operation Heracles, and we have £100 box of goodies. What's in it?
If you've been waiting for Warpath to return, this is the one you've been waiting for. So if you've been looking to play it, you've been wanting a mass sci-fi battle game, Mantic have done it. I've got to play it. It is now fantastic. They've really tightened up the rules. but you'll find out about that later on, yeah?
And what's in the £100 box?
Basically enough to actually get 2 decent-sized starter forces for the bigger version of the game, because it's coming in the 2 formats now. So you've got the smaller sort of squad-based one and the larger army scale one. The £100 box is 2 forces for that larger army-sized one.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Shiny stuff.
Okay. As we'd said, it's Salute this weekend. We have our team there. They're doing all sorts of coverage and stuff throughout today.
Yep.
We also a big thanks to Rich, community member Peachy, who's going to be helping us cover the painting competition.
Yep.
And remember that for video bombing this year, all you have to do is lick Justin's head.
Oh, okay.
Community member Red Ben posted the challenge and said, there's karma to be given to anybody that licks Justin's head. So prepare for a licking, Justin.
Well,
prepare for a licking.
I tell you what, I will make sure to shave that morning. That way no one ends up getting a hairball.
Okay. Tongue burn.
Tongue burn.
Right.
This is going to be interesting.
In our final kind of bit of updates, just to let you guys know that the trade hall plans for UK Games Expo have now been put out. So I believe we have a picture of those.
Should have an image here for it.
There we go. So there is a ton of stuff going on.
Hang fire. I see Lakefront Vikings.
Yeah, I like a look at that myself.
Gonna
actually,
have to check
Justin.
that out.
Yeah. So there is an absolute ton of stuff going on. In an upcoming weekend, we're going to be spending some time actually going through all of that. But if you want to find out who's where in the UK Games Expo, go and check out those trade hall plans.
Cool.
Right. I have a little bit of show and tell.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
You know I love my dungeon crawling.
Yes.
Okay. And I also enjoy playing games with my family and stuff like that. They've become kind of my little mini gamer group.
Yes.
Okay. So I have my wife and my 3 kids, and we gradually, we've been playing Hero Quest and Dungeon Saga and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine your little ones. You've got a Shield Maiden, a Berserker, and at least 1 Floki.
I have a couple of berserkers in there, I've got to say. So one of the things that that has come up a couple of times is they want to play as themselves. So they were saying, "Oh, where's the kid?
Yeah,
the kid dungeoneers and stuff like that." Yeah. There. So it had been something that I had been looking into for some time, and last week I was looking at probably my favorite solution to this. It's a dungeon crawling family from Hassle Free. So, Ben, check out this. This is Jigvim's Brood.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love this. So you have Jigvim the Swine. That's the dad at the back.
Yeah.
And what I particularly like about him, Justin, is he looks exhausted.
He does.
He looks utterly worn out.
This one cheeky-faced little kid in front of him,
yes,
just looks like an absolute terror on the tabletop.
Yes, that is going to be my max. That is my youngest right there. But let me introduce you to the family. So you have Jigvim the Swine, okay, which is the tired-looking dad, just right there at the back, and he's married to Ilsa the Believable, which I've had a real chuckle with Andrea about on this one, and that Ilsa looks like she's been through the mill as well.
Well, there's not only scars, and
not only scars and stuff like that there, but you can. That's a lady that's had some burns and has life is taking its toll.
Yeah,
and she still looks badass, ready to kick ass and take names.
Yeah. We
then have the first of the children, Yinjin, with her trusty bow. We then have Arkane. Oh, well, that's Agni. With the knife is going to play a great kind of a thief character. We have Arkane. Do we have Arkane there?
Cool.
We have Cool. I think Justin has managed to miss out Arkane.
I've missed the link.
Yeah.
But
so we have
Arkane,
Cool.
if we go back to this original image,
there's
is
Arkane there.
The tall kid with a broadsword which looks like a two-handed sword in his hands.
So I was admiring these. I was on the hunt last week for Vikings.
Yes.
Okay, so I've been really enjoying putting together some Vikings, and I wanted to get some heroes and characters. I'm going to show them off to the backstagers tomorrow morning because I have found my Ragnar Lothbrok and my Rolo. Yeah. I've got them. All right, I'm really, really pleased. So I'm going to show them off tomorrow. But in the process of it, I happened upon Jake Vim's brood, and I was just blown away by it. They were so characterful. I showed them to Andrea at the time, and she was going, "Yeah, I really like those," and we just thought they were great. I've been lucky enough to actually get my hands on a set.
Ooh.
So now I've only got these to the priming stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have the whole brood?
Yeah, I have the whole brood.
Okay.
So John has been helping me out with these, and let me just bring them in. There they are. Whoa, there we go. So this is the whole brood. Now you'll have noticed that I'm changing the base.
Yes.
So I've went with a 32mm base because I'm quite enamored with the 32mm base these days because I just like the extra canvas space that it gives for framing a miniature.
Yeah, and it looks as if you've used one of the Green Stuff World little rollers on
I
the bottom
have
as well.
indeed. I used one of the Green Stuff World rollers just to give me this kind of
Yeah, that little
fancy
dungeon floor.
tiled. You know, they have like cobblestones and stuff like that. But as I was saying to John, you know, if I'm taking my family adventuring,
Yeah, you're going to be raiding a high-class dungeon.
yeah, I'm not taking them to any old shithole. You know, like, I want to raid somewhere that is likely to have good shit in it. So I'm leaving all them old dirty cobblestone shitholes behind. I'm going to the high-class places now.
Right.
So this is going to be my family dungeon brood.
Right.
Okay? And I get to play this tired old geezer, this guy here. I just love the fact that he looks very disheveled.
Yeah.
He looks a little bit out of it.
Yeah. Losing his hair.
Yeah, losing the hair, as you do. And just exhausted.
Well, you say as you do. I think you mean as I've done.
As you've done, Justin. As you've done.
As I've done, as you can well see.
But I thought they were great. I've had a real blast browsing through the hassle-free minis. So
You see, I like visiting hassle-free whenever I'm looking for role-playing miniatures because they do such real nice individual character pieces.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's one of
Well,
the first
Kev
thoughts
White
always.
is just, he's a fabulous sculptor. There's
Yeah.
just no doubt about it. His designs are absolutely fabulous, and they're at Salute as well. So if you're watching this before you head down into Salute, be sure to go and check them out.
And they always seem to have the exact same location in Salute, so you can always find them.
Yes, which
So-
is over in the back wall,
Yes,
typically.
and
Yeah.
in the back left-hand side as you go in the main doors, I believe.
Right. And as good as these are,
Yeah.
I love my Vikings even more, but I'll show you those tomorrow.
Fair enough.
Right,
Fair enough.
we're going to take a very quick break to tell you about some hubs. After that, we've got the guys on from Steamforged, Jamie and Bryce,
Yeah.
who are going to sit down with Justin and talk Guild Ball.
Greek mythology rages to life in Mythic Battles Pantheon. Become a god and command heroes and monsters in a battle for Olympus at beastsofwar.com. Twisted aliens and demented cultists battle across the devastating science fiction world of Dark Age. Muster your forces and learn to survive at beastsofwar.com.
Hi everybody, we have Steamforge in the building. We have Jamie and Bryce. Guys, today we're having a look at Guild Ball Kickoff. So, Jamie, can you give me a quick rundown on what this box is?
Yeah, so Kickoff is Guild Ball in a box. We've got the Brewers and the Masons. Slugging it out, you get all the teams, all the miniatures you need in there, and a board and all the pieces you need for it.
All right, well, Bryce, this is the ultimate kickoff point, no pun intended,
Yep.
for Guild Ball. But who are we seeing on the cover here?
We have the two teams in the box are the Masons and the Brewers, and
That's it,
here
yes.
we have Mallet from the Masons Guild, who is currently swinging a hammer at Friday of the Brewers Guild, who is trying just as hard to stab him.
Now, I do like the idea that this is a sports game, but you can, sort of sink the boot in if you really want to. The stuff looks absolutely beautiful. I love the fact that you've done it in the coloured plastic, because it's that playability straight out of the box. There's no confusion of, is that grey guy mine? Is that grey guy mine?
Yeah.
No, I'm playing the blue guys, I'm playing the yellow guys. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
So let's crack open the box, because I do want to get
Can you just
look
have a
at
sniff?
this.
Like, oh,
That new box smell.
new box
that
smell.
new game smell is
Can't
always
beat
lovely.
it. Oh.
All right, so we obviously get our board,
Yep.
which comes in two pieces, if I'm not mistaken.
It does indeed come in two pieces.
Yes. So if you want to hold that up for the side camera here,
This one right here.
so here, So that's one of the parts.
This is one of the parts. This is the 1 foot by 3 foot section.
Yep.
And as you can see, it's double-sided. So this side, which will actually show you more, you get a better view from it over here.
Oh, it's all gone wrong.
Quite the size of a board in a box.
So you can see.
No, it's
no, it's the other way. It's not synced up.
Trade! Quick, trade!
No.
Seamless.
Seamless.
No, it's not.
We'll just edit it in post, it's fine.
Team
Don't worry
forged.
about it.
Yeah. Okay,
So
so
you
I'm
can
seeing
see-
the Mason's Guild symbol, and if you bring it down a bit and show up, you can see the Brewer's
You
Guild
can see the
symbol.
Brewer's Guild symbol. So this is the sort of themed side.
Yep.
And then if we flip it,
Oh goodness. How is it going to...
it's fine. It's
a
fine.
plain
You can
side,
see
yeah.
it's a plain side, yeah.
Okay,
It doesn't
so
require that
we get
much.
the idea. You're getting
Yeah.
2 pitches to play with in this box. It's a
Yes.
really nice touch to actually have that in the nice high quality cardboard.
Yeah.
Because it means when you lay it out, it actually feels nice.
Yeah.
I've seen some companies that do like roll out canvas paper things. This just feels great.
Yeah.
The other things you get in the box are all of the templates and tokens you need to play. And by that I mean all the templates and tokens you need to play. So if you guys can quickly run me through what we're seeing on each of these, okay? So on
sure
this
thing.
first one, what do we have?
On this first one, we have a standard scatter template. We actually have 2 of those. We have a kick scatter, and we have various widgets, which you'll notice you get 2 of each. Because obviously it's intended as a 2-player starter,
Yeah.
so that lets you,
You're not having to pass things back and
Yeah,
forth.
exactly, yeah.
Great.
You also have this section here, which is intended, and these guys here, which are intended to be used as terrain.
Okay.
Once
so
you
we do get
advance a
some
little,
terrain in this.
Yeah.
All right, and it's all double-sided, so you've got 2 types of terrain here, which is nice.
Yep.
Next one, we have another one of, what is this little template here?
So this right here is the kick scatter, and that basically is the template you use whenever whenever a model kicks a ball, and for whatever reason the pass is inaccurate and needs to scatter away.
Gotcha. And then moving across here, these 2.
So these are the victory point trackers for the 2 teams. You can see when you get to 12, you win. So that's the end of the track.
Okay, okay. And then if I flip this around, we're seeing some kind of circular dials. What are these for?
Yep, so these are the player's health dials. So on here you've got the name of the player and their health value, including their icy sponge level.
So these are paired.
They're all paired up, and you get the little things you need to clip them together, make them spin as well. Use these to track their health. You've got the option, if you want to sleeve your cards up and use a pen like in other systems. And
I don't know, I quite like this.
But this makes it nice and accessible. Straight away you can start playing, don't need to get pens, don't need to worry about accidentally ruining your cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to be quite frank, I would not mind seeing something like that for every single team.
Yes.
You know, it would be a really nice, just a little additional thing to be able to pick up. Right, our last sheet here has all of the tokens that we're going to need to play. So I'm assuming status effects up here.
Yep.
More along here.
Yep.
I'm guessing actually guild specific and coloured.
Yes, correct.
I'm guessing these are your scoring zones.
These are to give you effectively a goal post that you can. So you can either use just the cut out circle on the mat, or you can put these on top, or and then you can take these away and use them later as well.
Yep. Then we have, what are these tokens for here?
So these tokens here are for influence.
Right.
So that is the main resource that your team uses in Guild Ball to perform actions like kicking, attacking, and moving.
Yeah, so this is your way to make characters do a little more, be a little more heroic. Then.
Yes, exactly.
correct,
All right, cool. And then these ones along here, the little black ones?
These are your generic momentum tokens, so these are shared between both players. So every time you make an attack that your team enjoys doing, so for the Brewers, knocking people down, or for the Masons being just consistently putting out damage, you'll generate momentum, and that's a secondary resource in the game.
Okay, so it's going to let you do more cool wizzy things. Okay.
Yes.
Well, we will have to get a demo game in and actually see this in action. We then have a few more little ones here. What are these for?
So these are condition effects. So there are several conditions in the game of Guild Ball. The 2 that we have in the core set are poison and knockdown.
Okay.
And you can see those pretty simply from the little picture on
You look
them.
at green, you guess poison. You look at the black, you guess that's somebody on their butt.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What else do we get in the box here?
In the box you also get these 3 rulebooks, or
Okay.
So
booklets.
So there are 3 booklets to actually get you up and playing. Now, I'm going to guess, read this first. I'm going to guess this is the first thing I open. I don't look at this, I don't look at this. I grab this and I get playing, yeah?
Well, you think, but not, of course.
All right, so I'm assuming this is going to take us through all the basics of what the stats mean, how to lay out a basic game, yeah?
Yeah, essentially what this book does is it takes you through, and you can see it takes you through the first turn. And it shows you here how to set up the board, and then it takes you through the first turn, activation by activation. And in each activation, it explains what we're going to be explaining in that activation. So you got when Spigot activates, we're explaining friendly character plays and jogging.
Got it.
And then it does that for each activation till the end of the turn, and then it lets you go on and do it yourself.
All right, so basically this is kind of like a pre-programmed tutorial
Yes.
you'll follow and then pick up. Handy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, hopefully at least.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm guessing this next one is where you're going to go after you've played through that initial game, which is your core rulebook.
Yeah, so that is the full Guild Ball Season 3 core rules. So that is our core rule document. So that has the full rules document more sort of like clearly and concisely. Like this is what you need to play. Sorry, the kickoff booklet there. That's what you need to play when you first pick up the game. So you don't really need to know how stuff works precisely. You just need to know how it works on the table.
It's basically getting people into that headspace.
Exactly,
Because
yeah.
Get a feel for the game, see what you can do, and then you go into the core rules and see exactly how it all interacts and locks together.
See, this is something I find with every game I play these days. Each one sort of needs a different type of mindset, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Because if I'm playing something that's a very killy game, I need to have the mindset of, okay, threat assessment, I need to get rid of that, that, and that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guild Ball to me feels a little bit different, where it's not, okay, I'm just going to pound that team into the ground.
Yeah.
It's just, if I have a chance to knock you on your butt, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But there's a ball there that I need to remember. And if I forget that ball, I might get beaten here.
Yeah, that's one of the most common sort of mistakes, if you like, that people make when they first start playing Guild Ball.
Ignore the ball.
Ignore the ball.
Get the ball, go and punch the opponent in the face.
Because people
Although
are
that
used.
is fun.
It is fun,
That
and
can
that's
be
what
fun.
some
And-
guilds want to do.
Yeah, exactly. For certain guilds, that is your main win strategy. But for Guild Ball, because a lot of people come straight out of war games and they go, "Wow, he's hitting me, so I want to hit him back."
Yep.
But if you're playing the fisherman and you're trying to score 3 goals, hitting someone back is going to do nothing. So it means you get to dodge around a little bit and go get the ball.
Yeah,
But-
okay. All right, well, we have one more book here as well.
Yep.
So what is this? The Captain's Handbook.
So the Captain's Handbook is effectively, it is an introduction to the world of Guild Ball. So you have the history of Guild Ball here. You get a brand new short story, which isn't
lovely.
published anywhere else.
Lovely.
Which is called A Tale of Malt and Stone, which is essentially the tale of the game that's taking place. After that, it runs you through each of the players in each of the guilds,
Nice.
and just sort of gives you some hints and tips.
Aye.
Well, once you've read this, once you've read the core rules, once you start getting into playing the models a little bit more freely, it sort of gives you some ideas about what they should be doing on the table.
Okay, and I'm... All right, so it's not just for the Brewers and the Masons here. I'm seeing
Well,
new people.
this is still for the Brewers and the Masons, but this is where you can expand your list out to. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I want to center off for everybody.
Sorry, I'm just hogging it for myself. But essentially, here is where it's like these are the additional players. So these are if you've bought this, you got the Brewers, you got the Masons, and these are like the other players that you can play with those guilds. So they let you expand. And then here we have the other guilds of the Free Cities.
I see.
And this gives sort of a quick section on their background and their playstyle, and obviously some of the pictures of all the pretty models and artwork. And we've got all these, and on the last page we have the Farmers.
Farmers Guild.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yes.
You're going to hit me for this, but
Or I actually grew up in a farm that's very offensive.
no, it's all right. I grew up in the countryside here in Ireland, right up in the glens. But yeah, that's really cool. Is this published anywhere? This little story?
Nope.
Only
This
in the
is
kickoff.
Only in kickoff.
Yeah, all right, I'm going to twist your arm here. Can I get this to put into the post below here?
Yes, yeah.
Come on.
I think we can.
Yeah, go on, yeah.
So guys, if you've been wanting to find out a bit more about the Farmers Guild, check out the post below, okay?
Yep.
Nice one. But no, it's nice to have that little bit of a flavour text to actually get you in. And it's not bundled all together, because sometimes you'll look at it and say,
That's a big old
this
book,
is all
isn't it?
bundled
Yeah.
together, that's a fair lump to read. But having it in 3 nice little booklets, it keeps it really contained.
Yeah.
Right, the one thing I really want to see here, the minis.
Yeah, that's probably what everyone's waiting
Yeah.
to see,
It
isn't it?
Hang on.
Right, we're just waffling away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one thing I want to make sure of. Please tell me this was not mispacked with no minis.
Well, this was brand new fresh.
This has
so...
been unboxed. So we've got the
Someone in the
box.
packing factory might get a bit of a smack here, so let's
Fingers
check it.
crossed.
Is it there? Alright, so let's get them under close camera here. Are they there? Yes, they are. They are. Beautiful.
We're not getting filed, Jamie. We're all right.
We're good.
Alright, well, if you guys want to actually start passing them out to me,
Yeah, sure thing.
I'll just grab a couple of bits here first. If
Yep.
I can get it out. So the first thing you're going to get is a nice little custom set of Guild Ball dice here. So we've got the symbol on the 6, I believe.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they've got a Guild Ball symbol on the
Really
side.
nice. And then we start having a look at some of the characters. So this is Friday, I'm guessing?
That's correct, yeah.
Yes, that is Friday.
So Brewers, really nice. How does this character play on the tabletop?
So Friday is a very sort of, she's a bit unique for the Brewers. She has access to the dodges to move a little bit faster. She's faster than any other player on the team, and is their sort of out-and-out striker.
Yeah.
I see.
Whereas everyone else likes to sort of put the fists up, duke it out. She will go off and score the goals.
Yeah. Although not that she can't do a bit of duking
Yeah.
if she has to. Yeah.
Okay, but she's just a character that has that little bit more flexibility then.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so if you're a Brewers player and you're going for a goal, guess who you need to play?
Yes.
Right, next up we have the big guy.
Big boy.
Every
Stave.
team seems to have a big guy, so who is this?
So this is Stave. He is the Brewers' big guy, and he likes lobbing kegs at people.
Just as long as he's not lobbing the beer. I will say that is a really nice sculpt, actually having the foam coming
Yeah.
as if he's just bringing the arm,
Bringing it.
swinging back, screaming,
Right.
no, not today.
Yeah.
Ready to launch it into an oncoming Mason.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Next up, who do we have?
That is Hooper.
Uh-huh.
So he's a beat stick. He's got a big old, it looks like an oar, I think, and he uses it to hit people with quite hard.
Yeah.
He actually gets bonuses attacking people if they're knocked down on the floor.
Yeah.
Shoves his boot in.
Not to
Yeah.
teach my grandmother to suck eggs here, but I would assume that's a mixing paddle,
Yes.
not an oar.
Probably a mixing paddle. That'll probably be what it is then.
No,
Yeah.
it's all right because a few miles up the road from here, we have one of the finest whiskey distilleries in all of Ireland.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah,
We're listening. We're hooked.
Yeah, we're hooked. Yeah, we're in.
And suddenly the Guild Ball guys disappeared.
Yes.
But no, it's just for me to be smart. Okay, next up, who is this?
This is Spigot. This is the most drunk person on the pitch.
Lovely.
He's a struggling alcoholic, but is a fantastic footballer, and he's a football legend in the Guild Ball universe. He's been around for
Donkey's years.
donkey's years,
Yeah.
and he really sort of makes the team excel in a strange way. He can boost their football potential and makes them faster as well.
Right, one question.
Yes,
Is he running around with a broken bottle?
he is
Yes,
indeed. Yeah.
He is about to glass someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm seeing a theme.
We said
appearing
we
here.
said the players don't really die in the Guild Ball universe. No one said anything about scars.
Yeah.
Fair point. Yeah. That's a fair point.
There you
Okay, our next of our brewers, I'm guessing this is the leader because he's got the biggest stick.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So who is he?
That is Tapper, and he's a player who he can do quite a lot of damage himself with that big old pole. But what he most likes doing is buffing his team and setting up for his team activating later in the turn to do the sort of real damage.
Okay, cool. And then, as with every team, we have mascot.
Yep.
Yay! Who is this?
So this is Scum. Scum's sort of backstory is that Scum appeared one day on the Guild Ball pitch. Nobody really wanted him to be there, but he wouldn't leave. So they accepted him into the guild.
Okay, that cat is a badass.
It is.
I mean, yeah, look at his scars. Like that cat looks harder than I do.
Yeah.
Actually,
That
yeah.
cat could have me in a fight.
He does look like a beat-up, nasty alley cat.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the Captain Tapper is generally so drunk in the game he actually takes advice from the cat,
Yeah.
and it increases his ability if they're nearby.
I'm sorry. What's that, Scum? They should kick the ball harder? Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
Sure,
Good,
I'll do
good
that.
job. Scum also.
Ryan, you're
who
telling
should
me
I
the
kill?
Brewers Guild will generally be playing a game drunk.
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go. I've had a few warm-up beers.
You can. I mean, like you can. The Brewers Guild. They can't play sober.
Yeah.
That's madness.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like-
this sounds hilarious. I
Yeah.
cannot wait to see them on the tabletop. Drunken shenanigans all over the place.
Of course.
Most definitely.
All right, moving on to the Masons.
Yep.
Who do we have here?
Well, this is Brick, and you can see he's well named. He's got a brick on a chain down by his side, which
And
he
he's
uses.
built like a brick house.
Yep.
A brick house indeed, yeah. And he basically is so the Masons can be compared to, if they're compared to a house because they're the Masons, he's the foundation. He's the big guy standing at the back, charging in to help out any of his teammates that get in trouble. One of the other Mason models, Harmony,
Yes.
she actually gets extra armor if he's nearby.
Oh, I see.
So they have a good bit. The Masons have a lot of synergy amongst their guild, and they have a lot of sort of benefits if they're close to each other.
I have to say the sculpts are absolutely beautiful, and they've actually got a nice little bit of flax to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is really
they
nice.
turned out really nicely. For people who've been fans of Guild Ball from way back in the Kickstarter, they might notice that some of these have got little changes to their sculpts. They were changed for the PVC molding process, and also the Masons, a couple of them were resized a little bit to bring them back in line.
Okay, next up, mascot for the Masons. Why is it a monkey?
Why isn't it? Why wouldn't it be a monkey?
Fair question.
Yeah.
Fair question. What does this guy do?
So
But Marbles is sort of he's been around with the Masons for a while. He's a loved creature. Whenever someone hurts him, the rest of the guild fight harder. And he also has sort of a lot of synergy with the Captain Honor and Brick as well.
Right.
So, like Brick will charge out to defend people if they are being hurt. So will Marbles.
Yeah.
Marbles will follow him in.
Or go in first.
I'll go in first.
Yeah.
Okay. This sounds. It sounds amusing, as if there's many different shenanigans and synergies running on the tabletop. Sounds like a good
definitely.
time in a can so far.
Yeah.
Next up, we have somebody with a massive hammer.
Yeah, so this is Mallet. He is essentially he's the kind of the old workhorse of the Masons. He's been around for as like Spigot donkey's years. He's been around forever. He's this kind of jaded old veteran who's seen everything, and he has a very long hammer that he uses to beat people over the head with.
Okay, so he's a load-bearing wall.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, to continue the analogy, yeah, he's a load-bearing wall. The
continue the
Masons would
analogy.
not be the same without him.
Yeah. Next up, who is this?
This is Flint.
Flint is the superstar striker.
Okay.
You might see if you can get in on the face a little bit of similarity to a certain superstar English striker, midfielder. Sorry. That's who he's sort of modelled off. He is their out-and-out goal scorer and will quite likely score 2 or 3 in a game.
The armour is quite pretty on this fellow.
He is indeed.
Right,
yeah.
so he's the stained glass window.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the decorative frontispiece of the house,
Yeah.
if you will.
And then finally, I'm assuming we have left the leader to last.
Yes.
we have indeed.
So here we go. Who is this?
So this is Honor. She is a very sort of tactical, astute woman. She can go in. She's got a lot of synergies with Marbles. So when Marbles is nearby, she gets bonuses to attacking someone. She also has synergies with Harmony, who's actually her sister.
Ah, so this character here?
Yeah,
Yes,
that one there. So Harmony, if she activates close to Honor, she gets bonuses, and Honor can do with Harmony what's sort of almost cheating a little bit because the Masons get to cheat a little bit.
They
I'm
break
afraid.
the rules
They
quite
break the rules,
frequently.
yeah.
Okay.
Because Honor, so in a normal game of Guild Ball, every model activates once. Honor has a character play that lets one of her team activate twice.
Okay, so I could have Brick rocking in twice.
Exactly,
Correct.
you could, yeah.
How does that work with influence and stuff then?
They
Do they
keep the
generate
same.
more?
No, they keep the same influence.
So if you don't burn it all, you can get a second and get them further.
There you
That's
go.
it. So you can really sort of throw someone off their game because you go, I'll activate Brick, he'll walk up, he won't spend his 2, they're wasted. And later in the turn go, right, superior strategy, he's going again, those 2 are now back in play, go bang!
Yeah,
Straight in.
Good night, sweetheart.
yeah.
And then the last thing we
Final.
get in the box,
Yep.
of course, you're playing a game of football, so what would it be without the balls?
Exactly.
Now, a quick question. You've done them in 2 colours. Is this to sort of denote who has control of it?
No, effectively this is so that both players who buy the set get their own ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you and your friend do go in on it, you're not someone's not missing out, the Brewers will get their ball and so will the Masons.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, there is one last thing I'm noticing here, which I think is a fantastic touch to add to any of these boxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, this is a moulded plastic tray
Yes.
that everything
Yeah.
goes back into.
Yep.
But you've done the silhouettes
Yep.
behind, which I think is just a nice touch. It makes life
Really,
so much
yeah.
easier for
A little
everybody.
bit easier when you're putting away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when, for example, you're a newer player and you wouldn't. It would take you a little bit to kind of, oh god, I need to. Where does this go?
Yeah.
Just see the silhouette, slap it
I
right
have
in.
seen some games where they have tons and tons of minis in those, and you're just sitting.
And they're all
trying-
uniquely
Yeah.
posed and you're sort of like, this one kind of fits
Yeah.
and this one
Yeah.
sort of, if I
Yeah.
twist it this way,
But then
goes
it's like
in
a
there.
jigsaw, and you always end
Yeah.
up with one piece that just won't fit wherever you try and get it in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, it looks like a fantastic set. It is a real sense of class about it, this actual box, to actually, be able just to set up, sit down on the table, and go.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I do want to get a game on with you guys to actually figure out some of the mechanics and actually let people get a window into the world of this game. So thank you very much for coming in.
Yeah,
and
no
showing
worries.
off,
Thanks for
gents.
inviting us.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
Guys, we'll move on here to the rest of the show. Thank you for watching. Drop your comments below. What do you think of Guild Ball, and what sort of matchups would you hope to see in the future? So we'll move on here. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
It's time for 28mm World War II action. Will you recreate history or reshape it your way? On the Bolt Action Hub at beastsofwar.com. From Viking halls to the cities of the future, terrain buffs will love our foreground hub. Watch gaming tables of all genres come to life at beastsofwar.com.
So, if you're looking for the best way to get into Guild Ball, I think your kickoff set's going to be the way to go. I mean, like, I've already got the Brewers painted up from the set that the guys brought across. It disappeared to mine, and I just went at them. Fantastic to work on, fantastic to paint.
Yeah.
Really, really fun. And it's a great pair of balanced teams that you're actually working against.
So the teams,
The teams are perfectly balanced.
and we're going
against
to
each
find that out next week during the
yeah.
during the themed week, because you guys get to play those teams as well, don't you?
Yeah, well, what we've done is we've done training matches, right? So, Coach Jamie, Coach Bryce, teaching myself and John. So we each get taught a team, and then myself and John face off against each other.
Right, okay.
Then we have the Steamforge guys face off against each other.
Oh, the two senseis!
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And we talk about all the different factions and stuff, what the sort of motivations and stuff are behind them. So it's great. I can't wait for people to see it. And I love the fact that we have 3 copies of Kickoff to give away.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Right, it's time for Ben to start bringing me back up to speed with what the hell has been going on in the world. Ben, news. What's happening?
Okay, so we're going to kick things off with something that I think everybody would probably have imagined I would have put into this weekender, and that's the fact that Northstar and Osprey Games are going to be working on a new set of plastic dwarven infantry. So this is a new set that's coming out. It's all multi-part plastic. So it'll be kind of in the same sort of vein as you've seen for their Frostgrave stuff with their soldiers and their kobolds and things like that. But this is potentially for an entirely new range that's going to be focusing on very different styles of fantasy. So we've got these dwarves here that have got a very sort of old school, almost historical look to them in terms of the way that they're presented in the past and sort of the older look of them from the likes of Lord of the Rings and things. They're also going to be working on some extra stuff in the future for both elves and goblins too.
Right.
So this is quite interesting because it might tie into some of the tactics books that Osprey Games have been working on in the past, which is very, very cool, and potentially a future system too. But of course they also already Dragon Rampant. So if you're interested in using these guys in a fantasy setting already, you've got that rule set. Stay in there. Now, obviously it's Salute this weekend. If you are watching this and then you're sort of going to quickly make your way over to go to Salute in London, they are going to be giving away some sprues based on these dwarves here. So it's 1 sprue per customer. So if you go to their stand, you might actually be able to pick up some of these dwarves way ahead of time, which would be pretty cool. And put them together and paint them up and stuff. Yeah.
Right. So whenever I'm running around the main hall later today, going, Lance, where the hell's Ben? Oh, he disappeared. I know exactly where to find him.
Sprue of dwarves. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to be getting a sprue of dwarves, and then I'm going to be putting on a disguise, going back, and getting another sprue of
So
dwarves.
what? Hang on. Are you bringing different lengths, shapes, and shades of beard?
No, he'll just plait the beard in different patterns.
Yes. That's what I'll be doing. Yeah.
Good day, sir. I'd like a sprue of dwarves.
Yeah, he is the Dwarven Book of Beard Plaits.
Yes.
So
yeah. It's a
he'll
cunning
just go
disguise kit.
Yeah.
I will say, the look of these, the actual design of the dwarves, is actually, they look a lot lighter than what you traditionally see for dwarves.
Yeah.
You know, so they've got a lighter feel to the actual body and the build, because normally dwarves
Thinner.
Very stocky.
Yeah.
You know, very broad and block-like.
Yeah, that's what I was saying in terms of the look of them compared to, because we've seen like the very sort of modern day version of a dwarf, which is almost this squat, quite rotund fellow.
Yeah.
But in the past, they've always been a little bit lither than that, really. I mean, their old sort of Nordic version of them was they were effectively elves, just with, you know, they lived underground and made weapons. That was all it was, really.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see them going back to this almost more sort of Tolkien-esque version of the dwarves, which is very, very cool.
Cool.
So,
I've got to say, those painted dwarves, are they the painted ones?
I think those are 3D renders.
Yeah, but are they the what you're going to be able to build with the plastic set? Those, because they are fabulous, and I've got to say the paint job on them is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, but I think that's a 3D render paint job.
Do you reckon that's a Photoshop paint job?
I think
they've painted those and then they've just put them over the background, which makes you think that they're 3D rendered, but they are definitely studio painted. Just to keep you aware. So.
There you go.
I'm not
there
sure.
You go.
I'm not
Oh,
sure.
you could not believe him, but you know, one dwarf is telling us now. You know, he won't lie. We have some stuff from Gripping Beast for the Saga players out there, yeah?
Yeah, so Gripping Beast are obviously going to be at Salute as well, showing off some really fantastic stuff for the likes of Swordpoint and, of course, Saga. Now, the first of these sets that came out was one that was very, very funny. It popped up last week, and I thought it was hilarious. It's the Trained Bear set. So you've got a rather grumpy-looking bear there sitting with his master, which is very cool. There's also a Pagan Priest, which you might recognise from a certain TV show, which is pretty awesome. And priests are also very, very good in games of Saga, so it's always good to pick one of those up. There are also a couple of different banner bearers as well. So you've got the Irish banner bearer
no, just wait. You're going to have to slow down because We're only getting to the pagan priest now.
Oh, right,
now
okay.
that I see him, I absolutely do recognize him.
Yeah.
Okay, he goes on to my wish list as well. I'm trying to get everything from Vikings, so this guy here goes on.
So Justin's got a job to go and do when he gets to the stalls then, hasn't he? He's got to go and pick that up for you.
All right, so I'm coming along with a shopping list for Warren.
Yes, yeah. I want that.
Yeah.
I want that one.
All right, you want that one?
I haven't seen like priests and things like that used in Saga yet.
I've seen banner bearers used, but not priests
What
yet.
about Ben? What kind of role can the priests and stuff play?
You'll have to forgive me because I might get some of the rules wrong, but I think they allow you to get a few different re-rolls and sort of different abilities onto your heroes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think they also help with rallying too. So just
Okay. So yeah, I'm interested in that. Right. What else have we got there?
Banner
So
bearers?
as well as that, we've got the Irish and the Pagan Rus banner bearers. So if you're going to try and get these guys into your warbands, they're pretty awesome. I very much like the Irish guy. I think he's pretty awesome, howling towards the enemy. Seems to be right up the street of an Irishman, I think. So
Absolutely, yeah.
He's just running forward screaming, "It's my island."
Yeah.
exactly.
No, he's probably running forward screaming, "It's fecking cold. I should have worn a pair of pants today."
And then lastly here, Ben, what do we have? Some
And
archers?
lastly, we've got a set of the plastic Dark Age archers from the guys at Gripping Beast. So a lot of people have been trying to get their archers into their warbands and stuff for their levy. Unfortunately, it's really hard to get sort of plastic models for both Vikings, Saxons, all these kind of things that really work. So this is all sort of like a neutral set that will work for all kinds of different tribes and warbands or whatever in Saga. So
I will say, since taking levies with bows in my warband, it has made them a lot more effective.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, whenever you have that ability to reach out and hit somebody without having to worry about the backswing, because whenever you're fighting in Saga, you're both fighting,
Yes.
it makes a big difference. Yes, you're not getting a lot of shots, but it can be so annoying for, say, a unit of Hearthguard to lose a guy or two guys from a four-man unit because, 12 levy have decided, no, we're going to lose bows, shoot you.
Yeah. Awesome. Next up, we have the Games Workshop's latest release for Age of Sigmar. That's the Caradron Overlords. How do we pronounce it, Ben?
Caradron Overlords.
Yeah, I just got it in one then.
So this is the new, basically the starting steps towards a larger Caradron Overlords arriving in Age of Sigmar on the Mortal Realms.
Yeah.
It kicked off with obviously the Battle Tome coming out, so this will all be available this weekend, today and Sunday. There's also the very, very cool looking character as well, which is the Archanaut Admiral, so he'll be leading the way with his Scalf Hammer, which is just an awesome name for a hammer anyway. But yeah, very cool. As well as that, they've got their first sort of battle line units. Now, these are the units that you use in the game, sort of like as the basis for your force when you put together something from the General's Handbook. And those are the Archanaut Company. So they come with a range of different weapons there. You've got hand weapons. You've also got the ranged weapons like the big, huge Gatling gun as well. All powered by like this fantastic ethereal magical force and this little bit of steampunk thrown in too. And then, of course, all of these guys from the Caradron Overlords fly around in these massive airships. We've got one of them here, which is the Archanaut Frigate, which is one of the smaller versions that you're going to get in the game. And I just think these guys are looking very, very cool. I was a little sort of put off by them at first. I wasn't quite sure whether or not I was settled with the idea of these guys being almost sort of semi-futuristic in their look. But as they've sort of wound on, and I've seen a few more different paint schemes and stuff, I've actually been really enjoying the look of these guys. So, yeah.
Steampunk dwarves. I wouldn't have called
Kinda.
it. Well, you say kinda.
No, kind of, because you see the video at the very top of this page?
Yeah.
Is actually one of the guys from GW taking you on about a 15-minute chat about the background of the characters. I actually sat and watched through it. So the whole idea is that these guys actually split off from the main dwarven race, right?
Yeah.
Went up into the clouds, and they actually mine the clouds for like an ethereal gold, which is impregnated with magic from their realm.
Yeah.
Which is what powers everything of theirs. And I mean everything from the armor to the weapons to the actual flying ships to the cities in the sky.
Yeah.
Everything. Problem is, there are other races up there in the clouds as well, which we haven't seen yet. They sort of alluded that you might see Skaven in the skies.
Ooh.
So them having
Sky
airship.
rats.
Yeah,
of
sky
tomorrow.
rats.
I wonder will they be
And
steampunk
then,
as well?
demons of chaos in the skies all
Yeah.
going after this magical element, which is apparently incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
And actually seeing how the society has actually changed from being... Classical dwarves are very, stoic, honor-bound, we live by our king, we die by our king.
Yes.
These guys are not like that.
Oh, so what are they like?
They're very more mercantile.
Uh-huh.
So basically, they work off the premise that kings and gods have failed us, everything went to hell, we're not following them anymore. If you're successful, we will follow you. If you're making us money, we will follow you. We don't want to fight in a battle where we're all going to die unless we're getting paid well. That is basically the synopsis.
If you're sort of equating it back to what it might be from sort of Warhammer Fantasy for people that are familiar with it, these would have been the dwarves from the likes of Barak Var that would have gone out in their ships. These are the guys that would have hired the likes of Long Drong Slayer pirates and all this kind of thing. So a little bit more sort of off the beaten path for a dwarf, I guess you'd say, or a Duardin as it would be in Age of Sigmar. But,
Yeah, but there is a very clear, distinct difference between these guys and the traditional ground dwellers now.
Yeah.
These guys are, the sky pirates.
Do the ground dwellers still exist, Ben?
They do exist. They are mostly living within the cities of Sigmar himself, so they live up in Azurheim and stuff, and they help defend the gates and things against the incursions from Chaos and things like that. So all of the dwarves that you saw in the sort of latter half of the time for 8th edition, all those plastic kits basically carried over into the new game. So you've got the likes of the Iron Breakers and stuff that you saw there, sort of carrying on as the new models in this. So.
But I like that 15-minute video. Giving you someone who knows the background, knows it really well. He's one of the writers, and just takes you through it really quickly. And it's just like, look, here's my elevator pitch on it. Yes, it's a 15-minute one, but you want to know who these guys are. Here are who these guys are. Yeah,
awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Bring up that ship again, because I really like the art direction of where they're headed with these guys. Just look at that. That is just fabulous. Like, it's one of those models that you just go, I want to paint that. I want to get a hold of one of those, build it up and paint it. It's really, really nice. Yeah, looking forward to seeing those guys in the flesh. Right, lastly, we have some artillery releases from Battlefront.
Yes, so the British and the Germans from Flames of War and 4th edition and stuff, all fighting out there in the deserts. They're getting some artillery pieces. So leading things off with the 17-pounder anti-tank troop, which is pretty cool. Very good at punching through dwarven armor. I've got dwarves on the brain. German armor.
Yeah, these are the final kit that everybody at the boot camp would be wanting now, because if you remember, the British at the boot camp did get 17-pounders, but they weren't exactly the right kit just then because it wasn't exactly ready. So this is the final one that they're going to want to be using now on the tabletop.
Yeah.
And that's going to be your Tiger Killer right there.
Yeah. This was then joined by the 8.8 centimeter heavy AA platform for the Germans.
Oh, yes.
Now this is an interesting gun, because when I was reading about this over on the Battlefront website about this, it was obviously meant for covering the skies and taking out Allied bombing raids and stuff.
Yes.
But it was actually very effective, being pointed straight forward and fired at tanks and infantry on the ground.
Yes.
So a lot of the Germans ended up actually just turning all the guns down and using them to take out tanks and infantry and buildings and stuff like that instead, which meant that all the Germans and the Luftwaffe had to then send more airplanes over to North Africa to try and cover the airspace and things, because they weren't using the guns properly and things, which is pretty cool.
Well, actually, they were using the guns properly. Rommel was smart enough to know 8.8 centimeter round at that tank, that should blow up.
Yeah.
It'll go through,
But the 88... The 88 is just renowned now as a weapon. It's I've had them in my Flames of War army in the past.
Yep, they just kick ass.
They just absolutely kicked ass. They were flipping brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Well,
right. So if you're playing your Flames of War 4th edition, remember that we did have a Flames of War boot camp where we had how to play videos and stuff like that. We also have some more videos on the way, which is kind of following that training school format that you've got.
Yeah, so, I really like the way that works.
Yeah,
I like the way seeing one of us learn, the other of us learn, and seeing what we both.
So in that we have two masters of the game of Flames of War. One trains Justin, the other trains John. John and Justin face off, and then the maestros themselves face off. So we'll be bringing them up. They'll be bringing those two shortly. But in the meantime, if you're interested in Flames of War 4th edition, be sure to check out the bootcamp. We'll get the link to that into the show notes.
Of course.
So you can go in and check it out. Okay, right. It's time to bring Rob from Mantic in.
Yes.
Because we're going to get a nice, juicy update on Warpath. We'll be right back after we tell you about some hubs.
Become a general of mighty armies at the Kings of War Hub. Take command of elves, dwarves, and orcs in this game of massed fantasy combat on beastofwar.com. Fight for the Iron Kingdoms as a warcaster. Take control of the mighty jacks, arcane devices, and dark sorceries to bring the fight to the War Machine Hub on beastsofwar.com.
Hi everybody, I'm joined by Rob from Mantic, and as you might guess from the background, we're talking about Warpath.
Yep.
So Warpath is getting ready to land back into everybody's laps.
Yeah.
So what's the latest news on it?
So obviously Warpath, you may actually be familiar with the name because the original kind of came out, I think it's 2011, something like that, 2012.
I think it's maybe even 2010 because it was right whenever I started with the guys at Beast because our community actually did the alpha.
Oh right, okay, yeah. So, but the thing was, it never really kind of made it out of beta, and it was kind of the problem with kind of the original was it was very much Kings of War in space.
Yeah.
So we went back to Kickstarter with a kind of complete overhaul, basically, of it. So I think Ronnie decided that once he couldn't get it right to begin with, because he wanted big vehicles, lots of units, lots of factions, so they kind of eased off the gas a bit, introduced like Dreadball and Dead Zone, which was a really good way of introducing people to the world of Warpath, because it's quite an original world. It's kind of, it's not just kind of all these people going at it all the time, fighting each other. There's all these corporations that have kind of gone into space, and now they're buying planets and selling them and stripping over their resources. So it's capitalism on a galactic scale, basically.
It's taking today's policies and saying what would happen if it was however many hundred years in the future and in space, you know, actually giving us that freedom to work on that grander scale. Yeah,
so you've got the kind of co-prosperity sphere, it's called, and kind of at the center, it's brilliant. You know, this is like living in a kind of capitalist dream. You've got all the kind of resources, everything you need, but as you get further out and you start meeting some of the alien races, then it's a bit like the Wild West. That's where you're encountering the plague, who take over planets with these infections, or the vermin, who are kind of these space rats that have been hiding kind of in the shadows for a long time, but are now starting to emerge. The Forge Fathers, who are space dwarfs,
of course,
and don't take any messing,
of course.
And then you've got the Asterians, who are a bit more mysterious. No one's quite sure what they're doing. They're kind of very aloof. No one's really sure of their motives, but they are basically saying, well, look, humanity is unbalancing the order.
Yeah.
And if we need to, we're going to strike back and attack. So you've kind of got this world that's really been established now through Dreadball, through Dead Zone. And then now with Warpath, you're kind of going back to that world on a massive scale. Basically.
Yeah, we're ready to look at the broader theatres of war. It's one thing we talk about a lot here at Beast of War is the different levels of gameplay. So whenever you're on the Dreadball pitch, that is as close to the world as you're going to get, down to the individual player, that superstar feeling. Yeah. You're then coming out to play Dead Zone. Yeah. And you're starting to see, you know, those small Black Ops, Navy SEALs, tactical insurgent teams. Yeah. And now with Warpath, we've actually got two flavors here, which are taking us up through another 2 levels, which I'm really loving to see because it means you can play at the level you're comfortable with. Yeah, exactly. So Dead Zone is very much the small skirmish kind of team, and actually, if you've got say 5 enforcers, then that's a decent Dead Zone kind of team. Where you've got now is you've got Dead Zone, you've then got Firefight, which is slightly bigger skirmishes. So there you're talking I have the book
30
here.
units. Yeah, okay, so look through.
Yeah, so you're saying it's bigger skirmish games, yeah?
Yeah, so that is kind of, in that one, it's all about individuals. So individuals, like individual enforcers, then become units, which you can then fight, and they can have different weapons depending on how you kind of kit them out. And the idea for that one is you can actually start with around 30 models, but then actually, you know, again, you can scale things up. And here, when you're taking wounds, you're removing individual kind of miniatures. So yeah, that one is kind of like a real good stepping stone between Dead Zone before you get up to the huge mass battles of Warpath.
And then, so I'm assuming whenever you're picking up the Warpath rules, you're getting Firefight and the full Warpath. Now, I don't want to call it full Warpath game to make people think that Firefight is any less, but the full mass battle Warpath.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what you want to do. I mean, some people may love that kind of sense of, you know, your individual miniature could become a bit of a hero in some ways. You know, you could go out there and do something really spectacular, a bit like kind of Dead Zone as well. But then, yeah, so what you can actually do is you can choose which rulebook you want to buy. If you just want to play Firefight, you can just get Firefight. If you just want to play Warpath, you can get Warpath. Although we have obviously got some book bundles as well. So you can kind of give it a go and then see which kind of version tickles your fancy, really.
Well, I mean, like, honestly, I'll be honest, Rob. We've had you here for a while.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple of games of Warpath in. I've really enjoyed it. I'm going to say that right now. I'm putting my seal of approval on this one. I like playing Warpath.
And we got most of the rules right as well, which is quite unusual for me. Well, I'll say that now. We'll have to see. So the idea for Warpath is that you've got these movement trays. I don't know if you want to kind of have a look at those.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're at Beast of War. We've got the cameras for
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
So we've got one of our units here. So this is Forge Fathers.
Yeah,
I think this is Steel Warriors, yeah?
That's right. So you imagine these guys they're on a movement tray. So when you're moving that unit around, you're actually moving them around on that unit. And although it's not like Firefight, you can customize the units. You can do a similar thing with this because you could actually take off individual miniatures and replace them with an upgrade. So if you go back to say like these Forge Fathers again.
Okay. So back to here.
Yeah, and you take out. So if we took out that guy. So here you've got a standard Steel Warrior kind of unit.
Yeah.
But then you think, well, actually, I wouldn't mind kind of a bit more firepower here.
Mm-hmm.
You could take one out and replace it with a different weapon.
Yeah.
And then when you look in the kind of stats in the rule book, it'll actually tell you how many combined dice you roll for that unit. So it might be 10 dice or 9 dice.
Yeah.
But what you could also do is you could maybe add a medic, for example, to the enforcers, or you could add a captain. And the reason why you want to add captains is because then you get something called command dice. And command dice are really, really useful because a bit like Dead Zone, if you've played Dead Zone, you get a similar thing with that, is you roll these dice and you can use them to add extra orders to your go. So you might be able to move an extra unit. You might be able to put a unit on Overwatch or something like that. So command dice are really, really useful to kind of having these tactical advantages during the course of battle.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of kind of, it's not just, you're not just set to having this unit as it comes. You can kind of tweak it, add captains, add medics, add engineers, for example, to the enforcers.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of options. So, when you are kind of creating if you want to kind of multi-base or something like that, it's a good idea to maybe leave one free, so then you can pop in an alternative if you want.
Well, technically, the way I'm looking at it is I would leave everybody free on the base, because that way I can swap between Firefight and the Mass Battle variant as I like. And if I want to play Dead Zone, guess what? If I've got a Forge Father army, I've got a fantastic range to actually pick from for playing Dead Zone. And
that's the thing, actually, with Dead Zone, there are already a huge range of miniatures available. And actually, it won't take long. If you've got a Dead Zone faction, it won't actually take you much to upgrade to certainly a Firefight force.
Yeah.
You're probably talking a booster or a faction starter, and you're sorted.
Nice.
So that's the idea. And we will release like special starter armies for people. So although we're launching in April with the rule books and Operation Heracles, which is the 2-player set, you will also be able to in May get starter armies for the Veermen, Asterians, Enforcers, and Forge Fathers.
We will have to get those under camera.
Definitely.
I want to show these off because I'm looking at the miniatures and it's a smorgasbord of just beautiful minis.
Yeah.
So these are one of my favorites.
Oh, I love the jet bikes.
Oh,
yeah.
They're absolutely gorgeous. So this was one of the things that whenever we first saw the artwork for, it really just jumped out at us and went, holy crap, can we play with these? And Ronnie was just like, yeah, of course you can.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure your design team went, wait, we actually have to make these now?
Yeah, I mean, the Enforcers are fast already, but boy, we saw in our games that these can move 12.
Yeah, and then they can run 24 and suddenly go zipping across the table.
Yeah, so they really create a kind of capturing kind of the advantage in games. And again, that's another great tactical unit. And what you can do is you can run them just like that.
Yeah.
Or what you can also do in Warpath is combine them.
Oh, actually, let me bring it into the camera. So you've got Unit 1.
Yeah.
And you can bring in a second unit.
Yeah.
And my camera's not exactly big enough for this, but you get the idea. You can have all of them running together.
Yeah. And that would then be a team. So then when you're rolling to hit, you're rolling all of those dice. And so the brilliant thing about that is, we've got a decent sized selection here for Warpath, but I mean, this is actually fairly small to the scale you could go up to. I mean, you could have a 2,000 point battle, but because the rules have been streamlined, a bit like we've kind of done with Kings of War, where it's not going to take you a day to set up and play. It kind of a couple of hours. I mean, we've been playing games and it was taking about an hour, something like that. So not too long at all. So again, we really wanted to streamline the rules to make sure that you're kind of focusing on your tactics, not focusing on the actual how to play. If that makes sense. Yeah.
It's the way I always describe it is there are no speed bumps to the game. There's nothing that impedes play where you have to stop and actually start checking rule after rule after rule.
Yeah.
It's fine when you're learning, you'll have maybe 1 or 2 stops just to double check a thing, make sure you're getting a sequence of activation or a sequence of combat correct. But once you have those basics, hammered in, you will just mill through games of this.
Yeah, and then that's when you can have fun by adding the tanks and the vehicles. I mean, we've got like the Strider here and the weapons platform.
Well, let me bring the Strider in, because this is another one that always jumped out as just being very cool, because we've seen this in other places. We've seen it in Dead Zone.
Yeah.
We've seen it in, I believe we've seen it in Dreadball.
Yeah, there was one in Dreadball, and actually, I mean, the brilliant thing is in Warpath, you can actually run these in a team of 3.
Ooh.
So you've got a really great formation of 3 of these guys, literally striding across the battlefield, shooting. And then, there are different rules for vehicles, so they could explode if they take lots of damage.
Yeah, this was one of my favourite pieces to use on the tabletop.
Yeah, this was a beast.
Simply because tons and tons and tons of firepower is always good.
Yeah.
Guys, you know you love rolling a bucket full of dice. If you have lots of these on the table, you'll roll a bucket full of dice.
Yeah, you're going to roll a lot. And actually, as we scale up, these are the small vehicles.
Yeah, you have the big tanks, the big flyer.
Yeah, the Interceptor. The Interceptor is kind of probably about that big with the wingspan. You've got the tanks. You've got things like the Vermin tunnel runners as well, which are those kind of like whirling balls of death, and then mining tunnels as well that they can come up and pop out the ground. So we're only really at the beginning just scratching the surface of the kind of vehicles, but eventually there'll be a huge range of vehicles as well.
Well, it's the one thing I'm going to have to keep an eye on, because anytime you guys run one of your Mantic Open days up in Nottingham, I was fortunate enough to go to one of them. You guys must have had a 24 or 26 foot table laid out with Kings of War.
Yeah.
I want to see Warpath done like that.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, it's doable. It's really easily doable. I mean, actually, it's kind of doable with Firefight as well, because although you are moving the individual miniatures, the basic rules are pretty much the same. It's just, it's slightly more granular.
Yeah.
It would maybe take a little bit longer to remove the individual things, but there's nothing stopping you scaling your battles up that big. But I mean, I think that's definitely an idea that we would love. I mean, I think at the last Mantic Open Day, we had a 10,000 point game, or 16,000, but it's huge anyway, and it was on a massive table. But I mean, that's the beauty of Kings of War, is that it can scale up, and that is without a doubt the beauty of Warpath. You can play epic kind of scale games, but with kind of on these movement trays that are, on a huge scale. So it's brilliant.
Yeah, right. Now, what we're seeing on the tabletop today, you're saying, remember we were talking off camera, you said this was the bigger of the 2 starter sets you guys are planning to do, because you're planning to do 2. So you're doing a little one and a bigger one.
Yeah,
so the little one's focused for Firefight, yeah?
That's right. So there's Operation Heracles, which tells the story of the Forge Fathers versus the Enforcers on the planet Triton, where they found this precious metal. Unfortunately, the Forge Fathers want to get it, and the Enforcers want to get it because, as we were saying, it's capitalism gone mad. Yeah. They can sell this stuff for a load of money.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, the Forge Fathers, it's their kind of mythical kind of... It's like mithril, silver, that kind of thing. They've discovered it's on there and they want it back. So Heracles tells that story. So you can play through a series of narrative missions. You've got the Heracles dossier, which kind of sets the background, introduces the game, and then you've got kind of rule books that introduce you to the quick start rules for Firefight and for Warpath.
Nice.
So although there are 2 sets, you actually get the rules for both.
Oh, I see. Fantastic.
And the idea is there's a £50 set, which is for kind of a good introduction to Firefight. Yeah. You get probably about half what you get here. Yeah. And then the £100
enough to get
set.
you down and playing on that
without a doubt.
Level.
Yeah. And then you've got the bigger scale one, which is this one, which is a really good. This is what we've been playing in our games. Yeah. And it was fine. It was a really good introduction.
What, 25 Forge Fathers, 25 Enforcers, 4 Jet Bikes, the Jotun Cannon, the
Iron Ancestor,
the Strider, and the Gundog. Yeah. And a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah. So it's, again, we really want to get people playing the game. So we've kind of gone all out and kind of introduced it with, and you get the tokens and the dice and all that kind of stuff in there.
Will we be seeing this at Salute?
Yes.
Just out of curiosity.
Without a doubt. Yeah, we are kind of having a big Warpath focus. Same at the Open Day as well. We've got an Open Day in May.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So we will be kind of going Warpath crazy over the next couple of months.
It's beautiful to see it return, because this one, when it first came out, was whenever I first started with the guys, and there was such potential to it. Yeah. Such potential to be an amazing sci-fi game where you could have magnificent battles in the far-flung future. So really, really cool. Great. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what people do once they get into this game. Yeah. What stories they'll tell. So actually, just a quick question. What other forces do we have to look forward to? So we know we have the Orcs. We know they have the Asterians, Enforcers, the Rebs, and the Forge Fathers. I think, is that everybody so far?
So for Warpath, it'll be so you've obviously got the Vermin, Asterians, Enforcers, and Forge Fathers kind of at launch. We've got the GCPS, who are more like the kind of human, like normal troopers, soldiers, and they're actually allied kind of with the Marauders, with the Orcs.
Yeah.
So the orcs are kind of part of that list. And the reason for that is because we want to do something special. If we're going to do the Marauders as their own kind of separate faction, we want to do something a bit different with them.
This was one thing I liked about the Marauders faction for Warpath. They weren't the standard idea of what an orc is, this slavering beast that just wants to go to war.
Yeah.
They've actually got some smarts.
Yeah, and they're kind of mercenaries. And if you've read the source book, which is actually there, this is like a 92-page book which tells the story of Warpath.
Wow.
And in there you'll find out that the Marauders were very, very close to wiping out humanity at one point.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
They're kind of, there was this rebellion because the corporations were using the orcs basically as cheap kind of cannon fodder.
Yeah.
They were hiring them because they love fighting. So they're like, oh, brilliant, let's send these guys out. And they were literally exchanging them like assets. They would use them to take over a planet and then they'd sell them on once they got it. So obviously it kind of never goes to plan. So they rebelled. The Mandrake Rebellion, which is what led to the creation of the Enforcers. So you can find it. So all this world is all kind of intertwined, and there's these different reasons. So yeah, if we are going to do the Marauders, I think it'll be a case of looking at them a bit differently. But then, so you've got those, and then you've got the Plague as well. So the Plague are a really big part of Dead Zone, you know, and they all play very differently in kind of Warpath compared to the other ones. So the Plague aren't great at shooting, but they're good at assaulting. You know, they're a bit more like a horde army, same as the Vermin. Whereas when you come to the Enforcers and the kind of Forge Fathers, they're obviously much better at shooting and not necessarily so great at assault.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, like, I have to say, Operation Heracles sounds as if it's going to be one of the key things I think a game needs is a jump-off point.
Yeah.
That sort of wedge where you can jump into the world and start exploring.
Yeah.
So this sounds as if it's going to be absolutely perfect for that.
Yeah.
Important question. I'm doing this for you guys. Can we give one of these away? Oh, come on.
Oh, you've twisted my arm, Justin. Okay, yeah. We will give away one of the big £100 sets.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, get your comments in on YouTube, Facebook, or Beast of War for your chance to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, that, you know, because we want to get as many people playing. You know, take this to your local club. You know, get them playing it as well, because we do want to see some big battles.
Yeah. Fantastic. Right, so if they're getting that set, can we give them the rulebook too?
I'll tell you what. We'll give you some bundles of these rule books as well to give away.
Oh, lovely.
So let's give away 5 of the bundles. So you'll get the source book and the rule book, so you can try Firefight or Warpath, see which one you fancy. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so let me make sure I have it straight inside my own head.
Yeah.
So we've got the £100 bundle.
Yeah.
With the source book.
Yeah.
Or the book bundle.
Yeah.
And then 4 more to give away to other lucky winners.
We'll do 5.
Okay. So
Why not? Let's round it up. Let's go crazy.
Okay, guys. Some fantastic Warpath prizes on today's episode. Get your comments in below. Rob, thank you very much, mate.
No worries. Thank you.
I'm excited to see where the future of Warpath will take us, guys. We'll move on here. We will see you a little later on.
Anime cyberpunk style meets skirmish combat in Infinity. Experience 8 high-tech factions and fight to control the human sphere at the Infinity Hub on beastofwar.com. Progress comes to a world of magic as science and the arcane combine to make marvels. Meet steampunk inventors and orc mystics at the Volsun Hub on beastofwar.com.
So if you guys want to lay your hands on a £100 box for Operation Heracles and get yourself dropped straight into Warpath, get your comments in on Facebook, YouTube, or beastofwar.com.
Absolutely.
I am looking forward to this game now.
Yeah.
It's one of those games that whenever it first came out, you remember our community actually got to do the alpha test on it way back when.
Yeah.
You know, seeing this game finally sort of get its feet under it and actually be ready to be played on the tabletop and actually taken out the way the guys always imagined it is going to be fantastic. Really looking forward to it.
Well, right. We are at that time of the show. We're coming close to the close, but we have, Ben assures me, 2 amazing Kickstarters to get the juices flowing. Right, Ben, what's up first?
Okay, so the first of these is The Drowned Earth, which is now up on Kickstarter. We've been having a little bit of a run up to this over the last couple of weeks over on the website and things. We've also got the Let's Play 2, of course. This is by James Baldwin, and this is his sort of take on an alternative sci-fi universe set in the ancient ruins full of lost technologies and things like that. Now, the game's a really fantastic one. It's all very, very much scenario-based and like a lot of narrative going on there too. Played out on 3x3 tabletop, so it's all pretty tight knit and stuff.
Yeah.
And with around sort of between 5 to 8 models a side, I think it's around that. Some key sort of tenets of the game design that he was going for when he was putting together this game were that it was going to have a free-flowing, almost parkour-style movement mechanic, which is very cool. The rules would also be there to enforce the narrativeness of everything going on the tabletop. The rules themselves are also going to be very streamlined and easy to learn, which is cool. You can download them all on the Kickstarter page, which is great. And also that they would be work in competitive play properly, so there'd be very little disagreement between players. Now this game breaks down with a couple of different factions straight off the bat. We've got the likes of the Artifactors, which are very cool. There's also the Firm, the Militia, and also the Bondsman. And this brings me to one of the things that I really liked about the world of the Drowned Earth, in that it's not necessarily a game where everything is sort of dictated by the races or the look of the different creatures. So it's not dwarves versus elves or something like that. Everybody is effectively sort of drawn into their sort of groups by their beliefs and what they want to do. So you see a lot more of a dynamic mix between the different species, which is absolutely great. So it means that someone who really, really likes a certain type of monster, maybe the particular lizard people in the game, they aren't just going to be like, well, I don't get to use them in my side, but, he gets to use all of the cool stuff. It's all sort of mixed and matched around, which is fantastic. And it means that there's going to be a lot of character and a lot of stuff driven into everything that they do. The Kickstarter is looking fantastic at the moment. It was funded exceptionally quickly, and it's doing really, really well right now. One of the other things that was really cool about this little thing that he's sort of been working on over the last couple of days, and he's actually getting together a little bit of a choose your own adventure narrative going on throughout the Kickstarter campaign. Yeah. So backers will get to choose what happens with the main character in this little story of his, and then what will happen is that character will then go on to develop a gender, a species, profession, weapons, and all that kind of thing, and then they're going to sculpt that model, and it will be available to all the backers, which is pretty awesome.
So, nice. Now we have a let's play of this because you got a chance to play this game.
And that whole freedom of movement parkour style thing actually works really, really well within the game.
Now, for somebody that doesn't know what parkour is, this is
free running.
Free running, jumping from building to building.
Yes.
One of the things you described to me was that this game was so fluid in its movement, and you never felt encumbered as you were playing.
It's the idea that you can move from land to water to climbing a building to be on top of a building very, very quickly, because it all runs off sort of action points.
Yeah.
And your opponent can react to your actions. What I like is they have to spend their action points reacting to you.
Yeah.
So there's a penalty to reacting, because you might do nothing, but it means that you're not left with that moment of standing there with someone charging.
So as I'm doing stuff, you have the opportunity to react to me, but there is a cost to you reacting to me.
Exactly, and I really like that, because it's not just, I'm just infinitely going to react to you. You know, I mean, like there was one point during our game, or one of the games we played, where Jason had one of his guys jumping across one building to the other right, and just as he was like halfway between the building, I had a sniper sitting there and just went, all right.
So you paid a point,
and shot him down midair.
Nice.
Yeah.
No,
cinematic moments like that work really well in games.
I want to talk about the background, because the background's quite special to this game, isn't it?
Yes, because it's post-apocalyptic. So it's the world on the rebuild.
It's the world on the rebuild. And it's called Drowned Earth for a reason.
Yes.
It's because there's a lot of flooding, yeah?
Yeah, the world's climate has completely changed. Sea levels have risen, and so you'll be fighting in, sort of sunken, submerged cities. If I can find it here, there was a really nice piece of artwork, just very, very quickly. I can't really see it. There we go. That's what I want. So you see this.
Yes.
So you've got this broken, ruined city with waterfalls and stuff flowing through it.
Yeah.
And it has been moved so far along that the technology isn't sort of still in that sort of Stone Age era. People have learned to remanufacture weapons, bullets for guns and stuff. So there's a reasonable level of technology, but they're still trying to discover the old higher technologies, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Which is one of the key driving factors of the game, is to actually find the ancient technology of their forebears, because these old cities are ancient by their standards.
Yeah.
But it's basically like a little bit near future to us.
Treasure troves of technology.
Yeah, that and there's dinosaurs. Who doesn't love dinosaurs?
And there's dinosaurs in it as well.
Oh yeah, they've got velociraptors.
If anyone out there's a bit of a video game player and they want a little bit of a parallel towards what we're talking about, think about it in terms of Horizon Zero Dawn, which was the PlayStation game that came out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's sort of like lost and ruined cities and ancient technologies and things, but obviously they've added this in with some great fantasy races and things at the same time. It means that tabletops themselves are going to look absolutely amazing for this. I mean, the one we did for the Let's Play was great. People actually get lost in them, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, really cool.
Right, well, be sure to check out our Let's Play of it till you get a really good feel of the game, because it's a game, before we even got to the models.
Yeah.
Because the models are absolutely beautiful.
They're
but
gorgeous.
You've got that combination of really, really interesting backstory. And what I like about that kind of a backstory is it just fires you up on your terrain and your table building. Because you could get a water mat and then put your buildings on the water mat with some bits and pieces of growth and stuff like that, and then you're jumping from building to building.
Yeah, that's what we were doing.
And it really suits that high density of terrain, and because the play area is still just 3x3,
you can frame
you
it
don't need
nicely.
a fortune of money to get a good chunk of terrain in there to jumping from one aspect to the other. So all of that, do you know that 40k old city terrain that you have?
Yeah.
You just bring all that Cities of Death stuff in, and you
you
put
see,
it on a water platform.
Even some of the really high sci-fi stuff that you have.
Yeah.
You put a bunch of like lichen and overgrown stuff onto that. Suddenly you can make it look down, dirty, gritty, abandoned for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
There's nothing to stop you, save for your imagination.
Definitely a game with a lot going for it. Go
And it is fully funded.
Fully funded with 24 days left, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. Next up. Ben has been sitting telling me.
He's been bending your ear on this one?
Because when we were firing up to film this, he says, "Oh, you're going to love the last Kickstarter as well. Oh, you're going to love the last Kickstarter as well." So it's Gloomhaven's second printing, right? Go on, Ben.
Okay.
Fire me up.
So Gloomhaven is a game that I'm ashamed to have missed the first time it was on Kickstarter, but this is the second printing for it because it was so popular. To give you an indicator of things, it is already number 7 on Board Game Geek of all time.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So this is a game by Cephalophere Games, and it was designed by Isaac Childress, and it is a Euro-inspired. Think Warhammer Quest. Think tactical dungeoning. Think. Choose your own adventure, think role-playing games, everything you could think of in terms of fantasy crammed into a absolutely massive box. You'll be playing as these strange and weird characters like rock men, rat people, all kinds of different things like that in this world that is full of deadly monsters and dungeon delving and treasure and things. And you'll be going on these quests through like forgotten ruins and stuff, looking for treasure, defeating masterful dragons and things. And everything you do builds into this game to make it effectively a living experience. This is really a hobby in of its own thing. There are miniatures for these that you can paint up. There's so much stuff you can add to this. There's legacy mechanics tacked onto everything as well. So what will happen, for example, if I was looking at sort of like an average play session of this that lasts between 2 to 5 hours, which is pretty long anyway. That's like a role-playing session for most people. You sit down and you go through a dungeon. You go and you fight all the monsters and you work your way towards the end and you unlock the treasure. But that's basically like the start of it. Then once you've done all that, you can go to town and spend all your gold and start to accrue new weapons and upgrade yourself and things. You can change your decks because everything in this is done through cards. So there's no dice whatsoever. That's where the Euro side comes in. Then you get to go and then explore the world and find out what all of your actions have done to the place.
Oh,
so, yeah.
That's different.
So,
ears have pricked. Right, okay, go.
Yeah. Okay, so if you go into a dungeon and say you kill the dragons and stuff like that, or you just defeat all the skeletons and things, you come back out and you do a particular sort of objective, right? This then has a couple of different things that work in the sort of choose your own adventure style thing. So you make a decision. Then you'll take stickers in sort of like a legacy format to looking back to sort of pandemic and stuff, and they'll be applied to this huge world map, and then that will change things forever throughout the campaign, right? So maybe what you did in a particular area, whoever you killed, or the secret objective you fulfilled, will mean that a certain character is completely dead, a certain NPC is gone, and a certain area of the world is now completely opened, or certain magical artifacts are now completely uncovered and they are going to be affecting your game for the rest of the time you play this, which could be over months or maybe even years. Just to put this into context, to make that sound like it's not too weird, there are 95 scenarios in the game. And they are also planning a lot more because Isaac Childress, who put this game together, still doesn't think there's enough in the box, which is just crazy.
Well, I like this idea. I mean, it's that moment of, Warren, you remember that tavern brawl we had? Yeah, we're going back to that time. Do we maybe want to keep our heads low on this one? Maybe.
Could we be reaching the stage, because we had talked about this in past episodes with the legacy mechanics and how the legacy mechanics are probably our best.
It's that game save.
It's our best hope of getting the video game experience on the tabletop.
Yeah.
So this could be your kind of Fable type experience
Yeah,
almost
well,
on the tabletop.
That's really interesting because the characters in the game, they sort of grow and develop, and you'll upgrade them and you'll use sort of upgrades and things to create them. Interestingly, once you complete a certain amount of objectives or you complete a certain quest, that character can then be left to the side, and then you start an entirely new character that you've opened from the box. So you didn't even know that it was there, and you're like, wow, fantastic new character. That character that you left behind, he's not gone forever, or she's not gone forever. They then become an NPC in the game world that you might run into in the future, maybe as a hero or a villain or an enemy or something. So it definitely has this sort of fantastic
Nice.
good and evil choices thing going on, which is just fantastic. So yeah.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Warren, I'm warning you now, if I play this, I'm being as evil as I can be.
Okay, go back to the Kickstarter page and get a quick look at it.
Whoa, very well funded.
Yeah, it's very well funded. It probably by this stage has 9 days to go.
Yeah.
Scroll down, do we see what the buy-in's like on this one? So keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. We're not there yet. There, so $99.
Yeah. That seems to be becoming a bit of a standard for games on Kickstarter now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that $99 drop in with us?
Yeah.
You know, and in the UK, that's not bad at all because that works out to like 81, 82 quid.
70, 78 pounds or something like that.
Something around that mark, which is it's affordable, and you do get a ton.
Okay, Ben, I'm sold.
Okay, just a little word of warning though. This is not a game for the faint-of-hearted. If you have trouble digesting rulebooks,
okay,
this is a game that you need to seriously think about getting someone who knows what they're doing in terms of rules and digesting things to look through, because there's so much stuff in here that even everybody praises this game. It's absolutely fantastic. It's doing exceptionally well. It's sold out ridiculously, hence the second printing and stuff. But there is this huge on to sort of look at rules and things like that. So it's very complicated, but it's also so if you want this game to effectively consume your life,
Ben, your excitement is breaking the internet.
You're
Calm down.
bringing it. So basically, this game sits up there with Myth and Kingdom Death.
Yeah.
Yes.
In terms of you need to spend time with the books in order to truly get the best out of it.
You know what our normal option is?
Well, what we get the developers over to play us to take us through it. Oh yeah, well. We can't do that all the time, and that doesn't work for everybody.
Right.
But it is one of those things that I'm not sure how we get around it until such times as you kind of have your device telling you what to do. If we want that video game experience, that unfolding story,
that
which
handheld
legacy
tablet or mobile device tutorial.
But it's that if you want that feel that so far only legacy kind of games can give you. Well, then you are going to add layers of complexity there.
Yeah. Well, you see, that's something that I've seen a couple of games do. They've actually used your mobile device as your housekeeping. So you do all your housekeeping on your mobile device, and that just makes things so much easier than having
This
page
might
after
need to
page
go a
work
bit
through.
further than that, though. We might be getting to the stage now where realistically your device is talking you through the game. Not playing the game for you.
Yeah.
Okay, but talking
presenting the options,
presenting the options and things like that.
But I think we've seen a little bit of a step forward for that in terms of what the guys at FFG did with the Descent and their sort of Road to Legend. That was a pretty good sort of attempt at doing sort of teaching you the rules and sort of guiding you through things, but not making it too invasive or too strange and things, or replacing the need for someone who knows the rules and things. But hopefully we'll take some interesting new steps with it in the future.
Well, there we have it. That's Gloomhaven, second edition or second printing, 9 days left on Kickstarter. Look, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Remember, we'll be back tomorrow morning. I'll be showing off some Vikings, and we'll be looking into some other stuff that's going on in the world of gaming over on beastsofwar.com with our backstagers in the XLBS. That's the extra long backstage version of the show. Backstage is absolutely crucial to Beasts of War. We couldn't produce any of our content if we're not for our backstagers basically throwing us a couple of bucks a month to be able to help us pay the bills and pay for all of the equipment and things like that. So if you would consider coming across, there's a 7-day free trial. You'd be very welcome, and we would love to see you backstage at that show. Right, next week, all been well, we'll be doing a live show on the Thursday night. Come across to beastsofwar.com. We'll be posting up stuff before then on YouTube and on Facebook to let you know what's happening. So fingers crossed we get that working. we did a live stream earlier this week.
It worked.
That from a technical perspective, it's starting to come together. But
It's just us getting used to being live again.
Is it a case of will it be all right on the night? Well, we're going to find out. Right. Until then, have a great week of gaming. Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now, and be sure to check out beastsofwar.com for the latest gaming news and gaming Let's Plays. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.